Hello everyone, Richard Carlton here. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training. I'm here with Joe Martin from 360Works. Hello Joe, how are you?
Hey Richard, how's it going?
Joe is awesome, and I am good mostly, so that's great. So we have, as you can see, I'm here. I'm in California. Joe is in Atlanta, or Atlanta area. Where are you actually at? Is it?
I actually live just a teeny bit north of Atlanta in a place called Doraville. If you've ever heard of Buford Highway, we basically have the best food in the city out here. If you ever come to Atlanta, you ask people about Buford Highway. It's definitely a
Buford.
place to.
Only
Yeah.
Buford I know is Buford T. Justice. If anyone I know with a reference to Buford T. Justice, a little bit too old for you. That's fine. Welcome to FileMaker Training, where we do awesome FileMaker stuff. And then Joe is here from 360Works. It's an action-packed day. We're not going to waste too much time. It's going to be pretty awesome. We have the upcoming broadcast schedule. So every day at 1 o'clock, we're doing live training tomorrow. So today is a little bit more advanced, but really educational. Tomorrow, back to basics, right? So if you're a more advanced developer, just hang out, do your job. You don't have to be here. We're going to be doing basic FileMaker for new people tomorrow, and then Friday's kind of an open Q&A day. Next week, custom theme shared styles with Nick Hunter, and then FileMaker brain transplants day 1, day 2. So very, very, very exciting. So that's the upcoming schedule. As a reminder, if you would prefer a more cohesive training curriculum, I welcome you to check out fmtraining.tv. This is the live button over here, right? And you can come down and see the live information. This is being fed out of FileMaker in real time on your web browser. And if you want to purchase one of our training bundles, for the folks of you who are at Apple, you already have access to this for free, right? The training bundle, right? If you don't know about that, send us an email to support RC Consulting, but it's on your source websites. Apple employees who are actually legit Apple employees have a site license for this stuff, if you can believe that. So we provide the site license training for all of Apple corporate worldwide. Oh! Yeah, amazing. So that is there. So if you want to get the same training that Apple gets, check out the bundles here. If you don't need a copy of FileMaker, you just get the training by itself. You want this over here. If you want the training complete with a copy of FileMaker Pro 19 and a 1-year subscription plus some other goodies that are all part of that bundle, you want to check this out. So go to fmtrain.tv/bundle. Now, Joe is from 360Works, and 360Works sells lots of great products. I'm going to visit their website real quick here. I'm going to say 360Works is a kind of a good name. Here's their website right here. They got products over here. They do consulting, they do hosting, they do all sorts of stuff. A little bit of overlap with RCC, but really not so much. Because there's lots of work for good FileMaker developers out there, and they have some really mission critical products that really help round out the FileMaker platform. Without these products, the FileMaker platform would not be as well rounded, would not be as successful as it is. So welcome everyone, Bernard Coate. Bernard Coate, welcome as well. So today, what are we talking about? So, because of other places, we've talked about MirrorSync, which is your server replication, which we're happy to talk about again sometime. You know, offline syncing, things like that. Then you got the deploy tool. We talked about that before. So what are we doing today?
Today, I wanted to basically pack in as many demos of ScriptMaster as I can. Now, for those that aren't familiar, ScriptMaster is one of my favorite products of ours. It's free, so feel free to check it out if you want. What ScriptMaster lets you do is actually you can write code in Java or Groovy, and then you compile that into a FileMaker function. So you're actually getting to it's kind of amazing how much you can extend FileMaker functionality. If you look at all of the code out there that's been written in Groovy and Java, you can now execute that from inside of your FileMaker script or your function. It's kind of like the possibilities are honestly endless. So I wanted to sort of just demo as much as I could today. Should I just go ahead and get started?
I would say yes, absolutely get started. But I brought up the website here so people could see why you were talking about ScriptMaster. They could see the website.
Yeah, I'm going to show that, and that's good because actually the first demo I want to show was actually something we did for was actually sort of a two-product demo we did a while back for Scribe, where we wrote a bunch of nice little scripts that can actually trigger your scanner to scan a document and pull that into FileMaker. And then ScriptMaster is doing that part. Yeah.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
I'm getting aroused. I'm feeling aroused. All right.
So that's the ScriptMaster part that I wanted to show off. And then the second part of the demo is Scribe. Once the container, once the image or PDF is in FileMaker, Scribe can actually extract the text from that image and store that in FileMaker. So then you could analyze an invoice or process, kind of do whatever you want from there.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm switching you to full screen so you can take over and drive. Now we have the whole artwork here. So.
Well, I wanted to show, this is going to be the document I'm scanning today.
It's
always
bundle.
Hilarious.
There we go.
Yeah, it's always funny to see an email printed out. I think there's always a little bit of this.
Yeah, it's always a novelty anymore. That's great.
All right, so I've got that kind of loaded up in my scanner, and let's share our screen here.
All right.
Can you see my screen okay?
We now see your screen. I'm going to move your little box out of the way over there as best I can.
Great.
Cool. All right. And then, by the way, there is a paid level of this plugin, so make sure that we cover this because it's not, it's free, but trust me, if people are being successful with your product, I'm sure they'd love to throw you a couple bucks. At least I do, because that always makes sure that you continue to support the product, right? So, yeah, make sure you cover that at some point.
Yeah, there is a paid version of ScriptMaster which unlocks some additional functionality and also lets you generate your own plugins using ScriptMaster.
So you can build your own plugin. Yeah. Right.
You can build your own plugins, yeah.
So Nathan Schneider could have a product called Base Schneider, or Oregon Dean could have one called Monkey Dean, right? Monkey Dean plugin. That would be awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I would recommend people reach out to our support to understand the finer points of distinction there, because there are some. I think you'd want to take it on a case-by-case basis, whether you stick with the free version or go with the paid version. So hey, send us a note and we'll gladly talk about it. But to get to our demo, you saw my document scanned. Now I'm going to go get the latest Scribe file, and I know I'm talking about Scribe here, and I'm demoing ScriptMaster because we actually built ScriptMaster into our Scribe demo. But anyway, we need the latest demo file here, which you can download.
The Scribe is a paid product, but once again, the prices for this stuff are really inexpensive. So yeah,
you can get started with Scribe for $95 if you just want to do it on like one computer, kind of play around. And we also the demo version. Please, before you buy, try stuff out in our demo version. Our products run fully featured for 2 hours every time you start up FileMaker. If you need another 2 hours, just restart FileMaker. And I really I hate it when people aren't happy with what they bought. So I really encourage people to try out the demo first. Make sure it does what you need. Okay, so I've downloaded Scribe here, and then we get a little in the demos folder. We want to look for the Scribe Textract demo. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And if we jump over to the lab here, we can just kick off our scanning manager. And it's not a super fancy demo, but here it's cool. I think you're going to like it, Richard. So basically what it can do is this is going to scan your network for available printers. And then we can just choose the printer that we want to scan from. And so it's going to auto-populate the first one on the list, and this is the printer I want. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. And then this is a nice feature too. We can choose whether we want to scan from the tray or the flatbed. So I'm doing the flatbed, but if I had a big tray, it could pull in like 10 documents at once, combine all of those into a PDF, and then pull that into FileMaker too. So what about a
SnapScan? Because I mean, the SnapScan only is a tray; it doesn't have a flatbed on it, right? It's the Mitsubishi or Fuji or whoever makes it. It's a tray, right? And you roll through there, and out comes a single PDF. You put 10 documents on it. Out comes typically a single document.
You know what? I haven't tried with that one. I've only tried with the Brother printer. Yeah. So
okay, that's fine. It probably works just fine. I'm just asking a question. Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
SnapScan, yes.
All right. SnapScan. That's homework for me. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to kick off our flatbed scanner, and if I lean my headset really close, no, the scanner's too quiet. But we're scanning right now, and we're
It's done.
And then we've already, oh,
Oh,
oh
you.
no, oh no.
Oh, the worst. You're the worst
Okay.
demo
You know
person.
what's, so that's let's see. You know what? It's actually, let me go ahead and just restart FileMaker real quick so we can extend that demo mode.
Yeah, so there's a conversation on Discord. A lot of people use the SnapScan, I guess it's the Fuji. There's a model number. It's the Sierra S. It's S1500M. I use it on the Mac, and I love it, right? And so as Nathan Schneider says, this is the part where you put up your license key on screen so we all get it from you. Of course. All right, we're going to try this again. So we're going to do a tray. Are we doing tray or flatbed? What are we doing?
We're doing flatbed. This
Okay.
scanner, yeah, right. I've got it loaded in the flatbed. And so I'm going to go ahead and cancel this next part of this. We'll come back. We'll come back to that. But I just want to show.
So it scanned it in, right?
Yeah,
so,
we scanned it in. Let's take a look here. I'm just going to automatically pop that open, and there we go.
Yeah.
Scanned, pulled into FileMaker, stored in FileMaker.
Yeah.
So really nice way to kind of pull in those documents.
I kind of
Just to
like
finish.
that.
Yeah, just to finish out the demo here. Let's see. Sometimes the second part of the demo is we're actually taking this document, and Scribe can actually extract all of the text from that PDF. And now behind the scenes, we're actually using Amazon recognition.
Yeah, we got to talk about this because okay, so let's just be clear about this. When you do a scan, so is this ScriptMaster right here? This is all ScriptMaster. Is this ScriptMaster?
ScriptMaster is what pulled the document into this field.
So to be clear, this is a PDF for those of you wondering about, because he's saying some things here a little, I would say a little loose and fast, like a used car salesman. When you scan a document, it's coming in as an image. Okay, fundamentally there is no text in that image. This is a PDF. A PDF can have like text in it. It can also have images in it. When you scan a document, the whole thing comes in as one giant picture. So just out of the box, you can't get the text off a scan like that. However, this part down here is where you're using an Amazon service. What, recognition? Is that what you're using?
Actually, you know what? I got to correct myself. It's actually a service called Textract.
Oh, Textract. That's the one that we use in our AWS demo. We use that too. In fact, I got that from Jesse from his DevCon session 3 years ago. So.
Yeah. And so let's see.
So what you do is you take an image with this online service, Textract, and you send them an image, and back comes the text, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. They're able to. I mean, it's all machine learning. It's the new stuff, right? They're able to analyze an image, sort of pick out all the tiny little characters, and then send those back to us as just pure text. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and just cancel this for now because that's taken a little while. But let's see. Usually finishes right when you're kind of.
It normally takes. So for those of you, so I'm going to make this slightly smaller here over here.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to. For those of you not familiar with this, we did a demo where we did 3 AWS services and we put together a demo, and you can download this and play with this. And this is the kind of the same thing. There's this delay in here. And so if I go to fmstartingpoint.com and I go to the marketplace right here, you scroll down till you see something that says AWS. Okay, the AWS Integration, right? And so this is based upon Jesse Barnum's demo at DevCon. And so we built based upon this. Happy to give them credit, but we built 3 demos that are part of this download. You download all 3 of these. Voice to text. So if you have Richard talking, right, you do voice to text. You get OCR, optical character Textract. And so if you want, now this is separate than his plugin, but he combined this along with the ScriptMaster to get the scan. So it goes from, you have a document which becomes an image. You take the image, you feed the image to Amazon, and back comes a block of text. And it's in here. So now I'm going to go back to your screen. Do did it come back, or is it still giving us grief?
I'm still waiting on it. I think sometimes this does happen. Okay. Let's see.
Because what you do is you submit it to them, and it goes into a queue, and you periodically have to poll. It's in this demo over here, and you'll see us spinning this spinning a dialogue. It's waiting, and it runs a script step every 30 seconds. It checks Amazon to see if it's done, because it goes into a queue, and Amazon does it. And there may be a 10, 15, 20 second, a minute or 2 minute delay before it's done for you. So you're not really getting a push from Amazon. You have to go there and poll, P-O, not pole dancing for TK or some of you folks, but P-O-L-L, as in a request for information, a poll. You're asking it, not pushing, but you're polling the request. So
the polling approach is nice because you can do it from the client. You don't need to be technically a server side. If they wanted to push these results to you, then you'd have to have a server sort of waiting for that webhook. But if you're polling, then you can sort of just you can do that from the client at any point you want.
Yeah.
And Richard, I got to apologize. These results are just not coming down. So I wanted to. I'm glad we got the scan part is working, and that's really sort of.
Well, what you do is what I can do is I can to show this. But this is why you hang out with other people who can compensate. What I'm going to do, Michael, are you there? Michael, our music, Michael, are you there? Can you go grab the sample files for me and send me the OCR text extract, and I will grab it out of Slack, post it to Slack for me on our personal channel, okay? And then I will grab it and run a demo, or give me a scan or something or whatever. But I will, if you want to actually post this image back to me on Slack, and I'll do it on our end and see what happens with it. Because you have to have a key, and so when you download this, we give everyone a key they can play with. It's a test key, and we pay like $2 a month for this key, because people haven't really hacked it and used it and burned it up and lit it on fire, because the FileMaker community, frankly, is quite good by not doing that. Thank you for not lighting all my stuff on fire. Let me kill that. I'm going to go over here. We're going to compensate in flight. This is an in-flight refueling, right? Very exciting. So once again, if you want our AWS samples right here, they're free, totally free, and it's basically what he's showing. AWS Integration is 3 different. Now, Amazon has 150 different services they integrate with. This happens to be just 3 that we picked that were kind of interesting. So here's the PDF he gave us, right? I'm going to download that right here. So we were going to loop back to this demo here shortly, okay, if you want to jump on to the next demo. Yes.
So the next thing I wanted to kind of show off was I had a couple demos I kind of wanted to build out with you guys, just sort of while we're all here. Let me go ahead and get my ScriptMaster file open. So there's 3 things. There were 3 things I wanted to show off, just to sort of and accomplish a couple things. One, show how you can utilize Java to create these functions in ScriptMaster, and 2, just sort of show how quickly it can all come together. Now, the first one I wanted to do was, let's take a PDF with some text in it, and let's actually extract that into FileMaker. And this is a different thing. I want to thank you for making that distinction earlier between an image and a kind of image PDF that doesn't have any selectable text in it. There's no way we can't select this text and copy it. That's a sort of what you would call a flattened PDF.
Yep.
A lot of times you'll actually have a text or a PDF that actually has text in it,
because it was kicked out from Word or something. If you're in Word and you kick it out or something like that, then now it might be a PDF, but now it's selectable, which is great, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so if you have a PDF where you can select the text in it, that's actually sort of, I guess you could call it metadata in the PDF, and we're able to actually extract that. And in Java, it's in FileMaker you can't really do that in base FileMaker, but in Java it's really not too bad. And so let's take a look at how you do that. So I'm going to have to shelve ScriptMaster for a second because we need to do this in Java first. And I'm going to sort of breeze over some things because I think a lot of people, if people want to sort of dip their toe into Java, this is kind of a cool place to start. But there's still a lot of there's a lot of, what was the phrase, RTFM. You got to read the manual on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You got to read the manual. And once again, when we're talking about Java, we're not talking about JavaScript and Java, what I call Java,
Mm-hmm.
two different things, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. There's a funny quote. It's Java is to JavaScript as car is to carpet.
Oh, okay.
They are vastly different. But anyway, I for those, if you want to get into Java, I would recommend IntelliJ. It's a really great Java development environment. It's what I've been using for years, and I love it. It's just amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. Let's go ahead. We'll call this extract text from PDF. And the first thing that I need to do, that I want to do, is because I'm kind of lazy and I want to stand on the shoulders of giants, is I'm going to go find a library that already does what I want, that already extracts text from a PDF, and I'm just going to sort of write a clean little wrapper for it. Now there already is, if I say text from PDF, there is there is a nice library called PDFbox that already does this. As you can imagine, there's lots of tutorials out there written on how you can do this. And so I just basically need to take this existing code and plug it into my solution. But first, I need to get this library set up in Java. And so that's where Maven comes in. And I know I'm throwing a lot of words at you right now, so let me talk about Maven for a second. Maven is amazing. It's basically like, are you familiar with modular FileMaker?
Yeah, some of the people here are familiar with that, yeah.
Yeah. Maven is sort of like modular FileMaker for Java. They have these nice little encapsulated libraries that'll help you, and you can go there and search for functionality you need. So I'll typically just go to Google and look for Maven PDFbox, and there it is. They've already got the library I need. I've done this before, so I know which one I need, which version I want. But I can copy this Maven URL and apply that in IntelliJ. And IntelliJ can just download it all, get it all ready for me, and now we're good to go. So now I need to utilize that library. So let's make a new class here. I'm just going to name it the same thing as my project, and I'm going to do a pro developer move. We're going to copy and paste. Let me fix that. And so let's just test this code kind of as is. Let's see. I need to fix my file path there. So let's go grab the file path of the PDF we want, and I'll paste that in, and we can just run this code as is. And there we go. So from Java, we're able to pick up this file path, load it into our PDFbox library, and then get the text, extract the text from the document. So, all within a couple minutes, we're able to put that together.
Well, a couple minutes because you have your skill set, right? So so Agent Chevy's over here going. Basically, I'm going to rephrase what he asked. Is like, well, what can we do out of the box this thing without writing a lot of code? Is I think the question he would prefer to ask. I think he wanted to ask.
So I think there are, if we go back to ScriptMaster, there are a number of what we call modules already written that will, like we can choose folder, copy a file, sort of kind of basic stuff. But if you look at all of these, these are all Java. These are all Java/Groovy. The point of ScriptMaster is that you can write code in Java and then package that as a FileMaker function. It gets complex, but it's sort of amazing what you can do with it. But
All right.
but yeah.
So hang on one sec. So one sec. I'm going to go back and clean this up. So I have clean up your first demo. So we have the demo right here. For those of you wondering, I'm gonna help out. I'm going to flip my screen on here briefly. So you see me here. So on the screen over here, if you go to, once again, it's the same tech that they're using. I got this from Jesse Barnum. If you just download, you get all 3 sample files right here. We're going to pretend you did that. You check your email. You have the sample. So this is the double deal. This is the scan that that Joe did for us. This is a scan. Now, this is, once again, an image. Now, we have 2 demos going right now. One, Joe's talking about where you're getting the text out. This is a scan on your scanner. It comes as an image. It doesn't automatically convert to text. If you want to get the text out, you've got to use a service or some sort of process that does that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the download that we got, my AWS download. And I'm going to, there are 3 demos in here. It's called Textract. Okay, for those of you wondering about this, I'm going to open this up. And it's very gooey. And we made it very gooable. Oh, I just closed it. And the idea with this is that we kind of show you the process. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to zoom a little bit on this. And so what you do is you drag and drop the document on here. I'm going to drag and drop it on here. So we just simulated what ScriptMaster had done to talk to the scanner to bring it in. So that's what ScriptMaster did for us. Very cool. And then I say, you could script all this as one button, but I have it individually so you can mentally understand the process. First, we have to upload to Amazon, kind of in a holding area. So we press the button. There's a little bit of a, it talks to Amazon, then it confirms it's good to go. Then we say start the OCR process. So we're telling Amazon to do this. So this is what I do. Because we had this demo, we're like, what are we waiting for? What's happening? People think it's broke. And I just did this a second ago while he was talking. It takes it about a minute or so to come to have it pop up. But then the text is going to surface over here automatically because the dancing pole, the pole T-Rex going around in circles, is going to keep calling Amazon and saying, is it done, every 30 or 40 seconds or whatever we do. And so this will finish on its own. And so I'm going to minimize myself back out of the way, Joe. But people are going to see this demo pop out over here, kind of round out the item. So on this question over here, these are things that are built in automatically into the ScriptMaster plugin already. Is that what these
are? I mean, these are functions. Really, these are proof of concepts. These are little examples that you can do with ScriptMaster. Behind each and every one of these there's some Java code because that is what ScriptMaster does. You know, like in this example where we're unzipping a file, but we're really just executing behind the scenes. All ScriptMaster does is it takes some Java code that you give it and executes it as a FileMaker function. So you can absolutely use these modules that are already written in ScriptMaster. But the real beauty of ScriptMaster is writing your own, finding some like web service or like one good example is there are like something I wanted to demo later is there is a Google Drive Java development kit. So Google has already put out this nice little library for interacting with Google Drive, and you could write some code against that library and then execute it as a FileMaker function to like upload to Google Drive or list files or download or delete. And that's the real power behind ScriptMaster. Absolutely, you know, again, there are some examples that we've already written for you, but I think the real power is being able to write your own.
So Joe, I'm sorry. I want to point out that the OCR finished and it's showing on screen. So yeah. So that's a complete package. Just scan it and then to get the text out. Notice the text is not really in any sort of format, but you get all the text out more or less, right? Makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so this is available to you right now. This is a free demo along with the ScriptMaster's a free demo. So because there's some people like me who like to recycle other people's work, but this is really useful for those of you out here who actually have the time to do coding. Some of the people here, like Nathan Schneider, I know is busy. Oregon Dean, these guys have full-time jobs. They're swamped. I know they could do this. They could code this if they sat down and cleared their schedule, but they probably don't have time to sit down and clear their schedule like I don't. So the trick is to look in here and see if there's things in here you can do, kind of like pre-canned things that are helpful, right? But if you have a developer who's working for you, or a coder that's working for you or whatever, then they can use this and leverage this, find some open source Java, dump the Java in here, or you say Groovy as well can go in here as well.
Yep.
Okay. And then you can actually have the plugin kick something out. So the plugin is kind of this, it's like more like an engine where you load in whatever payload you want into the engine and you run it, right? That kind of,
yeah.
I mean, how would you describe your product, right? It's like a,
exactly. It lets you write. Yeah, right. You get to write your own code in Java and then package that, execute that from FileMaker. And so it's a little abstract. It definitely is a little abstract, but it's also you know, the sky is the limit. Anything that you could imagine doing in Java, you can now bring that to FileMaker, and there's so many things you can do in Java. A good example is, you know, every single AWS service has a Java library written for it. So every single AWS service, any AWS service you can think of, you could write some Java code against it to like create a new domain in Route 53, or spin up a server in EC2, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, and then import that, set that up as a FileMaker function, which would be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty neat to have like a FileMaker function called run instance, where you actually just turn on an EC2 instance from inside of FileMaker.
That's pretty amazing. Ruben has a question. Can ScriptMaster run simultaneously? Okay, well, I'm gonna ask the first question. Can ScriptMaster run as a FileMaker server-side plugin? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew the answer, but I want to answer that question first. Second question from Ruben is, can ScriptMaster run multiple user requests on FileMaker server on the server-side plugin at the same time? So I guess I hadn't really thought about this before. It's a really interesting question. If you forget your plugin, if you put a plugin on FileMaker server and you have 10 people connected and 3 people want to call the plugin at the same time, how the hell does that work?
We spent a lot of time making that work right. I think the short story is it's just going to work. The longer version of that story is basically each user who's connecting, who's executing this, like three different users do like a perform script on server. What happens? Well, each perform script on server gets its own session ID. And so that's how we tell them apart behind the scenes while they're running in the server.
Because each user has their own little session environment in general, but they also get access to. So does it replicate does it take your plugin code and kind of make it available in each of those sessions separately? I guess. Yeah. Okay. Is that something you have to code? Does it FileMaker? I mean, I'm just kind of curious because think about Monkey Bread or another plugin that's Joe Schmo's amazing baking plugin that does something, right? Do they have to code it? Did you as a developer have to make code adjustments to make that work? Or does FileMaker just simply kind of replicate the plugin and stick it in each session and it's kind of automatic, right?
FileMaker helps in that each time each function execution comes in, we see a session ID attached to it. But no, all of those calls go to the same plugin, if that makes sense. And so you have to write code to basically manage the memory for each of those sessions, so that you don't get these.
I did not know that.
So you don't get like memory conflicts and cross. You know, years and years ago, before FileMaker actually introduced the session ID parameter in FileMaker 15. So and then long before that, we ran into problems when Perform Script on Server came out in 13. You know, it revealed some problems in our plugins where we were seeing conflicts between users. It was like one sort of nasty bug we had was with the email plugin, where one user, if you had two users doing this, two users executing PSOS calls, and they were both reading in emails, they would get the wrong emails. They would get emails from each other's scripts, and so we had to kind of haul and fix that.
So
and,
this is why,
yeah.
for those of you wondering about, this is why I recommend specifically certain vendors for certain products, right? So the product here with these guys I recommend because 360Works, if they run into like a mission critical issue or a problem, they're going to fix it, right? So I have confidence. I don't have confidence they're perfect. I can test the fact they're not perfect. No one's perfect, but they're definitely not perfect. In fact, they may be less perfect than most people, but they work really hard to fix problems when they pop up. That's why Joe is here, frankly. If I didn't believe in Jesse and the company there, Joe could kiss my ass. Would not be allowed on the TV show. Okay, very simple. So, I don't want people calling me going, Richard, you recommend 360Works, but those guys suck. I don't. I go to bed at night knowing very well that I have represented things as best as possible, as accurately as possible. It's not fake news here, right? Joe didn't write me a check, literally. Thanks, Joe, for the $10,000 to show up, right? Didn't work that way. But these are all. So, do you have to modify the code to make these work, or will these just kind of work?
Yeah, these should work out of the box. We really want these examples to sort of just work for people. Ideally, so you could see something like where you could like this crop image function where you could take some parameters, and this should just work as is. I think I need to fix that path up there. But you could come in, you could familiarize yourself a little bit with the code and make a little tweak here, make a little tweak there, and sort of get more and more familiar with working with Groovy and Java. And that's probably a really good place to start.
Yeah, Agent Chevy wants to see another demo. So apparently,
all right.
Did you prep something else? What else do you have?
Well, okay. What do you? So I've got two more demos. I wanted to wrap up this. I wanted to turn this PDF text extraction into an actual FileMaker function, so that we can see that fully. Or we could skip ahead to, I was going to do detect objects in a photo, like the AWS recognition
that's
tools.
got higher sex appeal on it.
That one. All right. We're gonna skip ahead. Let's do that. So I'm gonna create a new project here, and let's call this one detect objects.
So I have a question. So is this part of one of your demos or not really, or do you have to go get the? Okay.
I've got a. I was planning on just writing it from scratch. Do you want to see the demo, the end result first, and then
I don't. Okay, I need the people in Discord. Listen up, Discord people. Do you want to see him code this thing, or do you want to see kind of the demo? It depends on if you folks want to like code stuff or what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So there they're voting now. Please vote. Demo first, then code. Code it. Code for me. Okay, demo first to get everyone excited and aroused. Right. And then you code it, and then go back and show how you did it. Okay, so let's do the demo first.
Do the demo first. So I do need to go grab. So this is I wrote this previously. I need to go grab the jar file that I've compiled my code into, and let's go create.
You're gonna do this really fast. Should we even be seeing this? Should I hide the screen right now, or do you want?
I'm gonna. This will be quick. This will be quick. I just
nothing
need to
magical demo setup.
Import my jar.
And I'll move it around really fast so no one can actually read it at any given time. How about that? I've never tried that.
And now we just need an image that we want to detect.
Okay, so slow down. So we're going to go full screen again. All right, so are we in FileMaker right now?
We're not. I'm picking a file, an image that I want to detect, and I just need to grab this.
The path name.
File
path.
Right?
All right, so for the rest of us, we would probably make that into a container so the person could, because having them inject it into a path, I don't want to explain to any user what the hell a path is. We'll start with that, but yes, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
One last thing I forgot. We need to actually add our jar file dependency. And now what this is going to do is actually upload this to recognition and then pull back down all of the objects that it detects. So this is using the AWS recognition service, and it was able to detect all of these things inside of this photo right here.
Okay, so scroll back up. Let's see what it says. So neighbor, maybe, Car, automobile, vehicle, transportation, person, human, wheel. That's true. Hang on, machine. It's a car. Road, pedestrian. I guess the skater's a pedestrian. Skateboard.
We got, yeah.
Sport, sports, maybe. Hang on. Path. Oh, sidewalk would be the path. Asphalt,
Oh,
city,
that's funny.
tarmac, which would
Tarmac.
be.
I guess we gotta.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tarmac is
listen.
generally an aviation term, right? Keep going. We have
Yeah,
urban,
right.
yep. Building, parking lot, no. There's parking,
Yeah.
but not parking lot, so that's kind of an error. Intersection, yes. It's implied intersection, but it doesn't have to be. Pavement, coupe. I guess a coupe car. Sports car. Is there a sports car there? Kind of.
Let's see.
Yeah. I don't know. If your
Yeah.
sports car is,
You know,
is a $20,000 or $30,000 sports car, there's a sports car there, but most of us consider, yeah. All right, keep
you know,
going.
one thing I'm not showing here is the confidence that it had for each of these labels.
Well,
So we might, well,
yeah. I mean, if you're saying that it thinks that some of this is dicey, we need a dicey factor, right? So where's
we
that?
do, yeah.
How do you put
We
that in there?
could. Let's see if we can get that in there. So let's see. Oops, that was the text object.
Demos in case it all goes wrong. Great name of your folder. Okay, so
Uh huh. Let's see.
crosswalk. Yeah, it was. Well, they called it a. Was crosswalk in there? I saw path in there. So what is it? You got get label and
let's add label.get confidence.
Yeah. Oh, and instances, like the number of times. Do instances too. That would be great.
Okay.
Do that too. Because they got cars in
Well,
there. It
let's
should
go
be
ahead
like,
again.
I want to see how many cars it counts, or sports cars, or whatever.
Let's
Yeah,
see,
instances. Yeah.
So that is a. Let's do. How about this? I'm going to do instances dot size. So it'll give us a count of how many instances it detected. I think. Let's
Okay.
see. Let's see what it actually says about instance. An instance of a label returned by Amazon recognition image. So, you know what? Let's do actually. Let's run this in Java and sort of inspect it from here because we can get a little bit more.
Telemetry. Yeah. Got
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So that's going to be our skateboard photo.
So you create a function called detect. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And let's go ahead and debug this. My script debugger in Java. And we'll do the call here. How about I just play to there?
By the way, notice how it does play and pause and forward and steps. All the same buttons we have in our debug is in this IntelliJ application down here, right?
Yep.
Kind of cool.
Right. Yep. It's debugging is kind of universal. We've really yeah. All right. So here's our labels, and if we look at the that's a little bit hard to look at. Let's blow that up a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that's.
Let's see. Oh, it's not standard JSON. Okay.
It's.
Let's see. We can inspect it here. So if I look at those instances,
confidence is 99%, and there's 14 cars. Okay, I will capitulate. There's probably 14 cars in there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. The instances. Right. We have 14 instances of our car.
And then it gives you the coordinates on the image of where it finds each one. That's interesting.
Yeah,
so you could actually have it highlight like car there, pole dancer over here, Joe over here, Joe putting money in the pole dancer down there. All right. So.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think our method of showing the instances, the number, the size, the number of instances will be good. And let's actually look at the string that it's going to give us back. If we go, let's see, we collapse that big old result object. So let me just copy this and throw it in a text editor. And that's what we'll see. We'll see car has a 99% confidence, and then we detected 14 cars. And then, this is interesting. It's showing 0 for automobile. Because I think automobile is a parent.
As a reference of the car, because look at the percentage is identical, right? So it said, so vehicle it's the same thing there. Transportation, same thing there. Person, found two people. Remember, I thought there were two people. Okay, so then person and human, and then wheel 10, machine. Oh, because
that's
they
good.
consider a machine a wheel. Look at that. All right. Road. How do you have 92% on a road but zero
confidence? You know what? You know why? It's because road is not an object; it's a scene, and we're actually doing object and scene detection. So you'll get. So I think that's why we'll see like city is 0. You're not going to put a box around city.
Okay, so hang on. So Alpha Lima 92651 had a question. I didn't see it. Good point. There it is there. Which IntelliJ do we need? The Community Edition or the Ultimate Edition? What are you using?
Get the Community Edition. That should be fine for now. I think the Enterprise Edition is really only useful for some more advanced stuff. You can do everything I'm doing with the Community Edition.
Grant's asking, can you ask Amazon to look for a particular object? I think, yeah, absolutely you can. Right. I mean,
you can, yeah.
I mean, so this, I mean, I'm going to speak to this generically because we saw this at DevCon. So with machine learning, you can obviously get, these are like basic things, right? But one of the demos that was had that Robert Halsey had done for FileMaker 19, the problem was it was kind of a Mac-only demo, and I really hate it when we do Mac-only things or Windows-only things, right? Because for years, Windows people would do Windows-only things, and Mac people were left off. And then when the Apple people returned the favor to them, I hate it. It's like throwing mud your kids are out in the front yard throwing mud at each other, and it makes for a big mess. But you can actually, if you had like a widget, like a starter on a car or a certain kind of mechanical part, you can actually train the machine learning to identify certain kinds of machine parts and then come back and give you and tell you whether it's there and what the percentage of accuracy it thinks it is. So you can definitely do that. Grant's asking that question on Discord. It's a really good question, Grant. If you were gonna try to find a specific kind of part, would you use this service or a different service, the recognition?
I think what you'd be looking at that point. You could. I think you can start with recognition models, but the service that you'd ultimately wind up using is called AWS SageMaker.
Can you go to that? Sort of, because I've never seen that. We're
getting. Yeah. We're getting kind of. Recognition is nice because it's a big black box, and we feed it in an image and we get out these results, and it works really great, and we're happy with it. But if you want to go into that black box and tweak how it works, things get very complicated very fast. I think you could. There are some guides on how to do that, but prepare to suffer a little bit because it's gonna be hard.
Well, I want to answer Grant's question because Grant had a good question. It's a legit question, and so the answer is there. So clearly, let me back up and state a couple of things that are really obvious here. And Grant, I don't talk to you that often, so I'm not sure where your background or skill set is, but clearly, FileMaker can talk to AWS in all its glory, which means that FileMaker can talk to SageMaker, and SageMaker with this recognition can be programmed to hunt down specific parts. So once again, let's just say that you took apart everything under the hood of your vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's a Tesla or a gas-powered car, it doesn't matter. You have a whole litany of little parts that are lined up. You could program it to identify those. For example, at Amazon, they keep hiring people. One of my daughters, youngest daughter, has got her first job there. She's working at Amazon, and her job is the returns come in, and she opens up, and she has to identify with human recognition. It's a pair of pants, it's shoes. Why is it returned? Was it stained? Someone says it doesn't fit, but really did the person leave it on the ground? Their dog chewed it up, and they decided to return it. And so there's this human interaction that goes on. How could we automate that? I'm sure Amazon would love to automate that job and remove these people. But the human mind is still pretty damn sophisticated compared to doing this right here. Right. So.
And it's necessary. A big part of training a machine learning model is you have to have you have to feed it a bunch of like you would like if you're training. And this is a really good example. Okay, you have to feed it a bunch of images that you already know the answer to, and you say, okay, what do you think this is? And it says, oh, it's a cat. And you said wrong. It was a dog. Okay, learn from this mistake, and now try again with a different photo. One really funny example is these people were trying to train their model to tell the difference between wolves and huskies. And they thought they had a pretty good model going. They could feed it in a picture of a wolf and it would say wolf, and feed it in a picture of a husky and say husky. But then they realized that when they fed it in a picture of a wolf, when there was no snow on the ground, it thought it was a husky. So they actually made a model that was just detecting snow on the ground and not.
Yeah. That's why people were worried about the machines taking over. Not quite yet, I don't think, right? I mean, you might want it to, it's not like we're not trying. I mean, we have the Tesla cars that are driving, and another Tesla autopilot killed another guy the other day because he decided to take a nap and let it drive, and I don't know, it killed him in fiery death and mayhem. And so, once again, this tech is not perfect yet, right? But it's on the way, and I consider this to be, from a business user's perspective, this is too damn complicated. We need something that's simpler to do. I need the FileMaker low code. There's that low code word. I need the low code version of Sage, right? And it's not there yet, but the technology is starting to come out, right? I was laughing about that, right?
Great. Yeah, it's very like there are specifically, like we've been using spam detection in email for years. And that's just plug and chug at this point. You just sort of feed it in. It sort of says, it gives it a score, yes or no, is it spam? And we'll start seeing those models come out for more and more specific things that we can just drop in. I think eventually we will use machine learning in the ways that we use just very, very general things today.
Yeah. And so, and of course, I think you can tell by the conversation here, I mean, we're way off in the weeds talking about this, but this is a very interesting area. We could spend more time talking about machine learning without a doubt, and how you use 360 products to talk to that. So, Yep, that would be great. So Grant says, yeah, great for simple tasks such as counting the windows in a building for a blind work order system or something like that. Yeah, before you put money on it, though, you might want to have a human confirm it or something like that. You want to have before you put money on your Husky counter, right, you want to make sure that it's actually going to reliably work very well. I mean, I think, for example, the NSA. So we'll talk about the U.S. government briefly here. And this gets back to this human interaction thing. So for those of you, if you send an email and you say you want to hurt someone, and that person happens to be a fairly politically powerful individual, probably a senator or someone like that, and you say something like, I really hate this blankety blank person, and I want to do harm to them, like right now this is getting sent out. And so there's an algorithm that's going to go, there's this discussion about hurting someone, and it will score it based upon other things we're talking about. We're talking about Huskies and windows and cars. Probably not seriously talking about trying to hurt someone, so the AI, the machine learning, will score it as very low. But if I was really wrapped around the axle, and Joe is mad about something, and they cause him, so now he wants to do something bad, these machine learning systems score it, they give it a higher degree of confidence, it gets kicked over a fence into a very specific list that a human looks at to make a human determination, right? And so that's kind of where, if you're going to put money into this, you want to score it, have it narrow things down, but then you still want this human interaction, right? You don't want the car really driving you across country while you're asleep, because you may never wake up from that, right? It might be your last nap ever, right? So anyway.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because sentiment analysis is kind of what you're talking about.
Sentiment analysis, there we go. Yeah,
that is we're going to start seeing that widely used in support systems. So like, we get an email, like in our, your product isn't working. Well, we could probably run sentiment analysis on that to kind of figure out how pissed off or not they are.
Yes.
And filter them from there. Who's better at dealing with the angry customer who needs scribe help or something?
Yeah.
Maybe maybe we go ahead and escalate them so our newbies just don't get abused, because that's no fun.
Okay, so Ben, so there is a question over here. So Ben says, how did you perform the PDF text extract? So,
Yeah.
um, if you want to kind of go back to that demo at the beginning and talk through it, I kind of showed on my screen taking the image and sending it to Amazon for processing. So the demo has two parts. One is to scan the scanner directly into a container. Once it's in the container, which I demoed over here, you feed it to AWS. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to get rid of myself. Move it over here. So once you had the image in a container, then, which is this demo you can download. I went through the website, right, to do this. You can do it here. I don't know if Joe's, you're working or it's unhappy or it's grumpy or what's going on.
I've got something wrong over here. I need to kind of dive in.
It's the same demo. So from this right here is the same as what I've got right here. And then you push the button and push the button, and out it comes. And people take this AWS Textract OCR demo. Once again, this demo comes from 360Works. I built this with the help of Jesse Barnum, the CEO of 360, Joe's boss. So Joe's boss and me basically got together and built this demo, okay? And so out comes this text down here. So how does that work? Well, this is a free download. It even works. It works with a license key that comes with it. It's totally free. You probably shouldn't try to deploy it widely to your customers, because if I suddenly get a big bill one month, then I'm going to shut it off. But the idea is that it comes back with this text. So you scan it, then you send it to Amazon, then Amazon runs the process, and then after a short delay, the text comes back. So Ben, does that answer your question? I mean, that's kind of the idea, right? And so if you want that demo specifically, the ScriptMaster is like a Swiss Army knife, if you understand what I mean by a Swiss Army knife. This demo over here is very specifically to, I'm just going to turn on my sidebar again over here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to FM starting point. You go to marketplace right here. FM starting point's our free CRM for those of you who don't know about this. It's you come right here. You have a marketplace up here. We created this long before Claris had a marketplace. And right here is a free demo. And you'll get the free sample files that you just saw over here. So you press that button, and we have the samples are the optical character recognition OCR, right? And these are other demos. These are other demos that people asked for. Once again, Jesse was inspiration to help with some of this, and then we put these together. So people take this code, they strip out the code, they use it in their own solutions. Totally legit. You can do that and roll it out yourself. Okay, great, cool. All right, where is the link for this free sample? Oh, so I just did that. So I answered that. So Alpha Lima 92651. Now, what if we want to play with your ScriptMaster, because we're running out of time here? Because we could spend more time on ScriptMaster. I mean, we could come back on another day and do this easy. So.
You really, I mean, ScriptMaster is endless. You know, it's sort of like, what can you do with programming is really the question you're asking. So let's see.
Let's do this. Show them how they can get ScriptMaster, and then there is a question here. Scott Kane wants to see how you get the functions in the FileMaker, right? So
yeah, okay.
We never really did that all the way, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Let's show that real quick. So ScriptMaster is, if you come to 360works.com and go to our products page, ScriptMaster is available for download here. And again, it is free for kind of the base version of ScriptMaster. And everything I've done today is part of the free version.
Yeah, everything you've done today is free, right? If you want to roll it, build your own, take your JavaScript or your Groovy and build your own version, a plugin that you can distribute, then you need to buy the license for that. But you could roll your own plugin. So that's where we talked about, rolling your own. So.
Yeah, and let's show. So to answer your question, how do we bring this into FileMaker? So what you would want to do actually is, if you're in the ScriptMaster file, there's a nice little button right here called Register Function. So I can just click this and Register Function, and now it'll tell me that I've got a new FileMaker function called Detect Object. Let's go take a look at that. Detect Object. There it is.
That's so cool. Now that Detect Object is hard coded to that image, right? So
it is.
So
yes.
So remember, we did the code and it was hard code that image, but if you do the modification so it found the container, uploaded the container. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, let's do it. So what you can do is you can add parameters you want over here, let's just swap that. I'm gonna take that out and put in my parameter here, and ScriptMaster
Oh.
will automatically detect that is it needs to basically take this parameter and plug it in over here. So I'll go ahead and run script, and it kind of let me clear that out.
You're still testing to make sure
we
it
can
works.
see it actually happen.
So this is a test.
Yeah,
right?
and now let's see if I register the function again. I should now be able to pass in a file path. And so I can pass in my file path there. And it would really, I think it'd be cool if we could, let me see if I have a different photo.
Yeah.
That doesn't have any.
No.
I might see, does this have anything?
That's ugly.
I need an image. Okay, let's.
Yeah, we need some pole dancers. Damn it.
Right.
I wonder if pole dancers even a thing.
Here we go. Let's just see if it can pick up a puppy here.
Oh no.
And
that's too easy. Scroll down. Give me a harder dog than that. Scroll down.
All right.
I want a person and a dog. There you go. 2 dogs.
Where's the 2 dogs? 2 dogs.
So
okay.
It should give us
I don't
know if it's coded to give us the count, but that should give us 2 dogs, right?
Let me just go ahead. I'm just going to grab a screenshot of this just so I can. And
that's a young dog and a very old dog. So will it identify? Okay.
So now let me go grab that. That should be on my desktop. There we go. I'm going to grab this path and plug that into my function here. Fingers crossed.
If it comes back with
there we go.
Labrador canine. Oh, we don't have the count in there.
I would need to go rebuild my artifact and import it back into FileMaker, but
yeah, because it would be interesting that you'd have like probably a 2 on there or something like dog 2, canine 2, mammal 2, golden retriever 2.
If we go back to Java, I can run that here. Let's see. Let me just plug it in here, and this will have our update.
Yeah, you got a problem there. There you go. Cool.
So let's go ahead and run this. There we go. 2 dogs.
Oh, there it is. 2 dogs. Mammal.
Zeros for everything else.
So all it did was it found this Labrador Retriever. Okay, so that must be the parent. Then even though they're in a different order here, this is the parent, and then these are the children items there. Okay. Although golden retriever is a 90%. Okay. Interesting.
Labrador. That's interesting. It makes a different distinction between Labrador Retriever and Golden Retriever.
Yeah, that's interesting. A golden versus a lab. That's mostly a hair. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. That would fit up because then it would say you have a dog and a surgeon at the same time. It would say Organ Dean 1, dog 1. That would be hysterical. Yeah, see how to screw that up.
Let's see. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and let's see.
Yeah,
which one is that?
You could play with this to heart's content. Yeah, so we want to have him. Thanks for the demo. I like the ScriptMaster code entry in FileMaker. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna finish this one off, but if you have suggestions, can I really ask everyone? Very important. If you have a suggestion you would like to see 360Works come back and demo something, please send me an email to support@RC Consulting. I'm not selling you anything. I'm just trying to get feedback. I ask for feedback. I get 1 person emails me. That's not a good sample size. Holy cow, did it do that just now?
Yeah, it pulled back doctor, dog.
Dude, cat, veterinarian. So lower on that. Wait, go back up. Go back up. Go back up. Doctor, 98%. Okay, this is why you don't let you don't give this thing a bunch of money, right? Because if you give it a bunch of US dollars or whatever kind of pounds sterling, whatever you have, and someone puts a mask on, it's instantly going to lose its mind, right? Damn. Damn.
Yeah, right. That's how you can fool the facial recognition. You know.
I'm just going to wear a mask going forward. Just going around
Yep.
wearing a mask. All right. Well, pretty exciting. Pretty good day. So people are buzzing. They want more stuff. Yeah, I know. But what would you? Okay, Scott. Okay, I talked to Jesse Barnum today. Listen, you guys and gals, say that nicely. Listen, right? I talked to Jesse. He wants to know what we would specifically demo. Okay. So you can't tell me, yeah, give me some more of this. Yeah, I need a little bit more help here, right? So what do you want to see, right? What would be useful to you? What would be useful to other people in your organization? Ben, Alpha Lima 1961, Bernard, Baron 8, Warm Butt or Wham Butt, right? What would be useful to people in your organization? That would be really great. Scott says email plugin with Outlook integration, right? Yeah. So I understand that, but we need, yeah. So, but Joe is busy saying he's too busy to talk to us, so we'll have to figure this out. So, I appreciate it, everyone. But send email to support@rcconsulting.com, and we will see if we get enough responses on this, then we will go back and do this. Okay. That's it for today, Joe. Thank you very much. And if you people want to download this all for free, go to 360works.com, press the products button, and then ScriptMaster. Right? ScriptMaster? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep. Let me, let's see. I can put together, we've got our detect objects.
Oh, you're going to do one more for us? Okay.
No, sorry. That's it. I spoke too soon.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I don't mind. You could detect cash, a customer with cash. That would be a good function, right? So customers with money, customers without money. Right? So, all right. Have a good one, folks. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
Guys just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly.
And I wonder if Joe's in here somewhere. I should go back to this. Is Joe actually in here? Let's play this again. Joe, are you actually in here? Where's Joe? No, that's Cal Fire. That's Sam, Garrett. That's Jesse Barnum, their CEO.
Cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More.
That might have been. I think that was Joe over there hiding behind the counter right there.
Great job up front, protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9
Yeah, that was Joe right there with the ponytail back.
5 to go here in the fourth.
There you go.
Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snaps a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.